Good morning from the ridge.
Good morning.
And welcome back again to our coffee chats. If you're new here, we have a main channel called White Rock Homestead, which has been pretty latent here lately, and you'll have to go back over to that channel and get caught up. But we have been busy.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. And yes, I did chop my hair.
I figured I'd wait and see until everybody... I mean, I know you're excited about it because it looks really good, but...
Yeah.
Normally you play the, I'm going to wait till people notice game, and you're like, no, yes, I did.
It's pretty noticeable that I chopped all my hair off. I was in the shower yesterday morning, and I don't know, it felt yucky. It just didn't, I don't know. I didn't even tell him I was doing it.
Well, you've been talking for months, which is what she'll typically do. She's like, ooh, I really want to do this. And she'll talk for months and months and months. And like next thing you know, 6-8 months goes by. And then she's like, oh, I nipped a little bit off. And that was good. And then she'll talk about it for another 6 months about, oh, and I just tell her do it. I mean, it's hair, it'll grow, or any other thing that she wants to change. Like, just do it. But I think it's one of those she has to convince herself more than she has to convince others.
Yeah. I didn't even I got myself out of the shower, gave myself an initial dry off, grabbed the scissors, and just started cutting. And I wanted just a real funky, fun style. And so I just started chopping, and I thought for sure he could hear the scissors going.
Well, no, because you figure, I was sitting in the living room, so TV's going, the fan's on in the bathroom, and that drowns everything out.
Yeah, it's a big, massive fan. It works amazing.
Yeah. When the shower's going, that's typically when she wants to try to talk to me. From the kitchen, she'll be like, hey, babe, what do you, and I'm in the shower with the water running and the fan going.
Yeah.
There's no conversation happening unless you're standing right outside the shower.
Well, another reason why I didn't tell him I was going to do it. One, it was a split-second decision to just, here we go. But also because I know my husband. And I'm sorry, y'all, I don't want to spend $100 to go get my hair cut. And if I say I'm really going to do this, my husband's going to say, well, then let's go to town and get you into a hair salon. No, I'm not spending $100 on a little everywhere. And so I just did it myself. There's a couple places I need to, shirt up, but clearly it's like really long not really long, but longer on this side. I did trim it up. And then I took this side really short, but left it long enough I could still tuck it for a little bit of sass.
Oh, you're sassy, all right.
Yeah. And of course I've slept on it. So, this is coffee chat, right? So I tried to freshen it up a little bit, but it looked way better yesterday when it wasn't so slept on. And then, even though I don't color my hair, I think I'm going to do this. It's a frost or highlight or I don't know, something. But when I chopped off all the back and the side, I took off all that natural sun lightened hair. And it just feels really dark to me until the sun can lighten it out. But girls, you know what I'm talking about. I know the men are like, whoa, we don't know, but the girls know. When your hair is exposed to the sun, it lightens up naturally. So anyway, that's my big whole goodbye 2024, hello 2025. Call it a shift that needed to be done given our history the last 6 months with being in Tennessee and not being here on the ridge and just, wanting to be home for that. And surprise, we were home for the holidays. And we were home, 2 days when Zach Holly brought the kids down. Mm-hmm. So we got to spend a beautiful week with the grandbabies, even though it was muddy and it rained and the kids didn't care. There's a foot of mud everywhere. And it's in the house now. We've got a lot of cleaning to do.
Yeah. But they went to town and we got them mud boots, some rain boots, some rubber boots that they could run around in. Oh, it was, it was great because they're so used to being up north where it's flat land, and so to be down here where it's not flat, and then you add sticky, muddy, slippery clay. Oh, it was like Bambi on ice with the younger two.
And then, of course, they're toddlers, right? And so every mud puddle is a place to stomp.
Yeah.
I somehow ended up getting mud from the granddaughter. She was jumping, and I had a mud clod actually enter into my high sea boots. I don't even know how that happens. But it was beautiful. And, of course, we didn't film, guys. And, you know, a lot of our coffee chats kind of take on a counseling session, per se. Or philosophical, or, you know, whatever we're feeling that day. And we've touched on it together a little bit, but not like sat down and had a conversation about it. And so I think I'm feeling it. He's probably going, oh shoot, what's going on? No.
I'm going to be as surprised as y'all are.
Well, as y'all know, we haven't had a video out in a long time on the main channel because we were in Tennessee taking care of my dad. I ain't gonna lie. Not having to have videos out and that stress and the pressure of, not that you guys do it, we do it to ourselves, but not having that expectation of having those videos out. Like, what are we gonna film? Where are we, you know, just being able to live has been kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
And, no, we're not stopping YouTube. But I would be remiss in saying that I've missed it. I've missed interacting with you guys. But the freedom to just wake up in the morning and just do whatever and do it, and not have that stress of, oh, it's Tuesday, I need to get a video ready for Wednesday, or it's Friday, I got to spend all day editing, so I have a video Saturday. You know, just being able to exist has been kind of refreshing.
Well, yeah.
In one aspect.
Right. Yeah. There's the aspect of it being refreshing. Like, a lot of you have come on here and in the comments and stuff and have told us, because we've been, as much as we've been gone, we've also, the times that we've been home, we have just been getting it.
Yeah.
Whether it was here, whether it was with friends at their homesteads, you know, just
trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah, like every time that we've been away from the homestead, we come back, we hit it hard, because we know, like, we've got a short amount of time before we have to leave again for something else. And that's what, looking at a summary of like 2024, that's what it's been.
Hurry up and go. Hurry up and go. Hurry up and go.
Like we've been in fast forward mode the entire year. Yeah. You know, and the thing was, we never got to hit the play button because we were in either fast forward or we're in pause. Like, there was no in between.
And we talk a lot about enjoying the journey. And I don't know what 2024 journey was, but it wasn't.
Well, we
some
learned,
aspects of it, yes.
Yeah, we learned a lot of what we need to do, right? Of future planning for the property.
Gave us clarity on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like we learned some things that we thought we had talked them out before, planning purposes wise. But now, like, seeing it firsthand, it really gave us a wake up call of, okay, all right, we've talked about this, but now we've witnessed it. Like, here's the seriousness of, and you know, where I go with that is building things, of how it is. You know, our big philosophy on everything that we do around here is, as we build it, our thought going into it was, yes, we need the functionality now, but we need to age in place.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that we don't want to age out of our home and out of our property.
We love it.
And our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And how can we do it, you know, now while we still have the abilities and we're not restricted necessarily with physical limitations and that type of thing.
But we're feeling our age.
Yeah, we are. But this break of not filming, not doing anything like that, that's been what you guys have been telling us to do for a while. And we just couldn't. But between the last couple trips to Tennessee and then the kids coming down,
we just enjoyed.
It's forced us into it, and it's been great. But
we realize there's a lot of things that need to change.
Yeah, but it has proven what we've said quite a bit, right? Was how much we appreciate you guys and how much we appreciate the channel, that we've created it, because without us creating this channel in the area that we're in right now, we would probably have 0 friends around here.
Yeah.
Because we would never have left the homestead.
Yeah.
So the gratefulness of us creating the channel has, one, made us friends with all of you, right? And our local friends that we have. Because honestly, had it not been for the channel, we wouldn't have even met the friends that we have locally. Just because there would have never been a situation that put us together to where we would have met them if it wasn't for YouTube. And if you look at the last, I'm even going to go as far as the last 2 months, but I mean really the last 6 months, where our progress on the homestead has been
nil
and none. And a major part of that is because we haven't been here. But the times that we have been here, other than the in-between visit of coming back from Tennessee, being home for a month, and then go back to Tennessee, we were busy, right? We got the squash. We got, things done around here that made it a little bit more winter prepped. But then, the few weeks that we've been back, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
No, we haven't
week
even
and a
been
half.
back 2 weeks.
I don't know. Time is all one.
We got home Christmas Eve.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is we've proven in this last couple of weeks, you all keep us accountable. Because of ourselves.
Yeah, I was going to go there.
Right? You keep us accountable to making sure we're getting projects done. Because as much needed and as rewarding as it was to relax and not do anything and not worry about filming, we got nothing done.
No.
And it did feel good. And it was much needed. But it proved the point that you guys are keeping us accountable, and not through your comments necessarily, just our obligation to you, that we want you guys to see what we're doing and we want to be excited about that. And that means we need to do stuff around here. So it's one of those that this was much needed, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. Honestly, I wouldn't. I don't regret it.
It's kind of a reset.
Yeah.
I think 2024 for us has been a big reset, because you make plans for your life, or you think you do, and then life has a way of saying, haha, I don't think so. And so you go through a lot of self-reflection, which I think is normal at this time of the year as we're going into 2025. And probably all of you guys are kind of feeling that whole, what did I do in 24? Did I accomplish my goals? Did I do what I set out to do? Did my plans come to fruition? And as much as I would love to put out a year in review video for 2024, I can't. like what, 2 projects? So, to go down that route of even putting a review video out, it makes you stop, and it makes you question what you're doing. And that kind of was why I brought that up, that I've kind of enjoyed not having the responsibilities of YouTube. To acknowledge that feeling, to share that feeling, but also, as Jason says, to remind ourselves that without you guys and without YouTube, we probably wouldn't get much done. And we need that. We're at the stage in our lives where we don't have unlimited motivation, unlimited energy, unlimited everything. Let me tell you what, I slept for a full day and slept all night after the grandbabies left.
Yeah.
There's a reason people have kids when they're young. And so, coming full circle, I guess I'm ready to kick back. And I mean that as in kick butt. We've got a lot of projects that we need to finish. We have a lot of things that we need to get done. And then we were kind of giggling last night because, here we are, we're like ready to start projects and get in on it. And there's a polar vortex coming. Of course there would be. Why wouldn't there be? And so what will get done, I don't know. Right now we just need to prep for this polar vortex that's coming through.
Yeah. And it's still, we carry our schedule and our it's one day at a time. Trying not to go much further than that because you don't know. It's just one of those that without knowing what the next day is going to uphold. What's the weather going to be like? Who's going to give you a phone call that needs to be, rescued or service, or, is that a day that one of us is going to be too sick or not feeling well or injured, it's...
And there's more than just Jason and I here on the ridge. There's 5 of us. And there's 5 structures. Well, 5 if you include the Squatch. So that multiplies our preparedness that we have to get done. And it doesn't all rest on us, but that kind of falls back on the patriarch and the matriarch. And Jason's the head of our household. And so he's our leader. He's our guider. And...
Ooh, that's scary.
And even though, Jake's perfectly capable, Jenna's perfectly capable, Swami's perfectly capable, as the head of our household, the leading is responsibility that falls on our head of our household, which is Jason. So even if it's just Jason standing by, moral support wise, okay, or telling them what to do, or just being there, he has an obligation under God's rule to be that head, but it does put a lot of pressure on Jason to make sure that all our systems are in check and all of our systems are a go, and then to tackle those issues that pop up when something fails. So
yeah, and being properly prepared for as much as you possibly can. It makes it less stressful in the end. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations, and mostly, a lot of times, honestly, it's her talking, when we were around other friends or whatever, of how does he stay so calm? Like, how does he have the patience? Like, I'm mad and frustrated, and I'll listen to her telling people about this, and I'm like, what does she mean? I'm just doing, what you're supposed to do. And then it's where it makes you realize that a lot of people don't have... Like, I think that's one thing that I've had to learn over the years, was people don't think the way that I think. And their brain doesn't work the way that my brain works. And the more that I can be prepared for something, the less I need to be stressed. Because I know that, hey, there's going to be a failure somewhere, right? There's going to be an issue. But if you get mad and frustrated, well, when have you worked on something that you were mad and frustrated while you were working on it, and it made it that much worse? You were like, I think when you talked about doing bread one time, I remember you talking to where it was like you were angry about something and then you were trying to make it, and then the bread didn't turn out right. And it was like, and it's those simple things of, if you go into a project or anything, right, and you're trying to attack it and you're mad and aggravated, and
your mind doesn't have the clarity to finish.
Yeah, like you're not going to think about that process. So, I try to stay as cool, calm, and collected as possible.
It's the whole yin to the yang, right?
Yeah.
I'm the yang, he's the yin. Or, I don't know.
But the more prepared we can. I mean, that was a big focus when we were home for the month before we went back to Tennessee.
Preparing to be gone.
Preparing to be gone, knowing that we didn't prepare for winter when we left the first time. Because it wasn't winter time.
And we left in July for the main section of us being gone. Even though I was gone and we were gone together collectively from almost since last January, February. Yeah. So we didn't think, who thinks in July to prep for winter?
Well, you should. That's the thing. But we had so much going on. Yeah, like it's one of those that we're getting into those steps of that preparedness, I guess, of you prep in the summer for what you need for winter. You're prepping in the winter to get ready, right? Because you're planting your seeds. You're doing all these things in the wintertime to get ready for summer. Like, if you're preparing in the season that it is, then you're kind of too late. And sometimes you don't have a choice. But with our schedule and our lifestyle, the ideal way of doing it, right, to be in the perfect zen of it all, is you're always a season ahead. And I mean, the perfect example, because we were kind of goffing at it, yesterday when we went to Walmart, was like, we just got through Christmas, right? And what's the next holiday for retail sales?
Valentine's Day.
So they're got the stores. They're already stocking the shelves. Like, and if you look at it from a retail aspect, then that's smart. And I was actually having a conversation with my brother the other day because all the kids, you know, they're out of school right now because of winter break, and some of the staff, the teachers at school, had been reaching out to parents because a lot of the kids, especially the younger age, the first, second graders, they'd all left like their snow pants and their mittens and their hats in the classroom going into winter break. And the teacher's like, we need you guys to come get these things because you're not going to go, you know, and this is where the conversation with my brother was, if you need mittens, hats, or winter coats, you're not buying them in December in Michigan because they're already
sold out.
They're already sold out, or they've already pulled them because now they're starting to do their spring summer line. Like, and we ran into that several years ago. Being up there was, you know, we went in and we're like, oh, we'll just go buy.
I think it's when we went up
some hats or gloves or
James's
something.
Funeral.
Yeah, and we couldn't find any cold weather stuff, and we're like, it's, you know, December. What are we doing? And you've got to buy that stuff in the end of summer or early fall when it comes out because it won't be on the shelf.
But it's all about being prepared.
Yeah.
So, in that essence of being prepared, one, I am not for our winter garden. And I could not wait to get home to get plastic on the greenhouse so that I could start my, you know, I knew it was going to be a little bit late, but to get my stuff started. And now that we're home and we're going into this polar vortex, it's not a big rush to get the plastic back on the greenhouse because it would kill everything that was in there anyway when we're getting into the teens here in Arkansas. So that's actually given us a little bit of grace. And
that's the January and February are the two worst months for us when it comes to cold weather and that kind of stuff. So, and that's also when, which we've already gotten a ton of rain, but that'll be
rainy season.
That's our rainy season. Hopefully it stays as rain and not snow and white stuff. So
they're calling for it.
Yeah. And I think that's where we were hoping to have had it done this year. We do want to build a permanent greenhouse.
Yeah, and that one will be heated. So, you know, looking in the future, and maybe this is a good time to talk about some of our goals. And we're going to say goals and plans because they're not, they're a game plan for 2025.
Yeah.
Because we know our failures for 2024. We acknowledge our failures for 2024. So, okay, where can we pick up the pieces for 2025? Realistically. So one of the very first things is we need to replenish our chicken flock. And so that is on the plans for either later today or tomorrow, that we need, if y'all remember, we had to have Eric and Missy come over and build a temporary goat shelter for Waylon and Willie to get them away from the ladies until Mike over at DD5 and David could come and offload some of those goats and we could get rid of the other male goat that we had. So he converted the chicken run into a temporary goat shelter. And our friends Ron and Kaniki, and they're selling their off-grid property, by the way. So if you're interested, shoot me a message and I'll try to get you the deets on that. But we're going to be taking her flock. She's giving it to us at a really amazing price. Not my ideal birds because y'all know I love my Isis or cinnamon queens or whatever y'all call them all over America. And I just need eggs. I cannot stand buying eggs right now. So that's going to be slated as one of our very first projects. We've started a project that we were hoping to get done before the kids arrived, but it didn't happen. But there's video of that. So we'll be finishing that.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. What do you think, babe? What do you think's going to come after we get the chickens? Hopefully this week we'll have chickens again on the ridge.
That needs to happen right away.
Because they're selling. They need to. They need
the other project that we had started and didn't finish yet. That's a.
I need more coffee. Keep talking.
Me too. That's a as needed or as we can project. Honestly, the biggest thing next is going to be working on the studio. A lot of you've seen we do our lives from there, and that works great. I've got temporary heat in there. but it's also temporary power with just the power banks, and that's working. But we need lighting, we need, power to plug things in. I need to be able to heat it and cool it. Right now, obviously, I'm just worried about heat, to keep climate control. The computers in there, equipment's in there that would be better if it's in a climate control. So,
oh, is that the sun?
I think so.
Is that the sun? The sun's coming.
So I think the studio's a big one. We're already enjoying that space, although we've probably put more stuff in it as temporary storage than needed to be. But
out of necessity.
Yeah, had we not had that,
Look at that glow.
that sun is amazing. That was kind of a thing. I know this is going back a little bit or reflecting back, but we did realize that for entertainment purposes, right? For having guests on the ridge, we need a larger space for that.
Yeah. And for kitchen prep for harvest, we need a bigger space.
Yeah. And so I think once we get the studio done, we'll probably jump on expanding the deck.
To the tiny house.
Here on the tiny house. Expanding the deck to be able to provide that outdoor kitchen space, but also a flat level dry, not in the mud, not on uneven ground.
For when y'all visit the ridge.
Yeah. So but then big project wise, I think for 2025, and I know it seems crazy to say, hey, really? That's what you're going to put as your main thing for the year? But
we need to make it a priority.
Well, right. The priority of it, but then also we have to be realistic. We don't have unlimited fundage. That's,
Not after 2024.
Yeah. And so the shop, I think if we can get the shop up, even if it's not 100% done, but it's in, and it's there, and it's usable. Like I said, I mean, temporary power, whatever, that kind of looks like. But I think getting the shop done in 2025 for us is the major goal.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be other projects on the side.
Well, there
obviously.
will be, because remember, there's 5 of us here on the ridge. Jenna is working her plan. She has it all laid out. I think she even went and bought a tablet, because she likes lined paper, to draw out her plan and her finances. She has been working umpteen hours in overtime. And her house build, she has challenged herself to save up enough money by April.
Yeah.
So, we've told you our projects and what we are going to do, but there again, we're going to probably have a lot of side projects. If you've been with us for any amount of time, you know that we do that.
Jake's working some stuff right now because he wants to expand his cabin.
Yep. And he's working tons of overtime as well.
And so, he's got his things going on. And of course, we've told him, basically, hey, we'll give you our time. Not all of it. Like, hey, you get 1 day a week or something like that. Whatever we can pull from our own projects to be able to go.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is on them, financially. And the same deal goes for Aunt Swami. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about Aunt Swami's build and what's going on with it and where's she at.
And why we aren't helping her. And
we are. We are helping her. But the deal is, just like we've told our own children, and just like the children that are looking at coming to move here, is, hey, we'll provide you a space. We'll give you some of our time and expertise. Well, let's not go that far of expertise. We'll give you some of the knowledge of things that we know, right? But financially, it's just not going to be there. So the progress of their builds is based on their financial ability and what they can do themselves, And Aunt Swami has been adamant that she do this herself. And we're fine with that. I mean,
I worry about, because she does stay in the house, even though it's not insulated, there's no wiring. And so, my brain the last 2 days has been focused on keeping her warm during this polar vortex. Clearly, we're not going to let her go freezing. But trying to work that out to give her some form of heat source in there and trying to find things on Marketplace.
And the big thing is, like, so, obviously we're not the only ones kind of doing what do we call it?
Build as you go?
No, a
complex.
Complex. So, in today's society, it's not uncommon, right? We've talked about this before, that families are coming back together, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're building complexes. We have a neighbor.
Combining resources, combining
is doing the same
knowledge.
thing.
Yeah.
And, because it is difficult to live on your own in today's society, the way that just the cost, right? And I had it totally in my brain.
And it wasn't even me that interrupted you to, thank you. Anyway, we will be doing side projects along the way.
Yeah.
Helping out our family and our friends. We've got not as much travel planned for 25. We are staying home for New Year's Eve. A lot of you have been wanting us to go to David's. David, we love you. We love everyone that's going to be there. Sorry, we're just plumb wore out. We're staying home.
Yeah, we're traveled out.
Traveled out.
And we've got so many things that we need to get done around here.
Yeah.
And it's just good to be home. Like going out to travel or do things like that is nice when it's a needed break, right? But we've had 6 months of break in and back and forth of Tennessee. So, we're home. And we're going to be home for a little while. We do have some stuff planned for next weekend or this coming weekend,
so
whatever.
Stay tuned for that. But it's still a good year. We don't call 2024 a failure of any kind, because a failure would imply that you did nothing, and that's not true. We spent an enormous amount of time with my dad.
I remember where I was going with it.
And it was a beautiful time. Getting to spend that time with my dad and the rest of the families, all my aunts and uncles and everyone there. That is in no means a failure. So I can't even remotely claim that it was even less than a perfect year. It just, for the homestead, it was just a little lacking. But as you're going into 2025, folks, and we're going to wrap this up because this is a little longer than normal coffee chat, be kind to yourselves. Don't think about what you didn't get done. Think about what you still have the abilities to get done.
Yeah.
And I guess I needed my own little pep talk to get back on track. And that's why we are going to continue with YouTube. And we are going to continue. It may take us a little bumps in the roads to get back into the flow and the routine of things, because we're out of practice. But we're here to stay, I think.
Yeah. And the thought that I blanked out on a few minutes ago, right, wasn't having a seizure. I just literally lost where I was going. Was pride and ownership. I know I've talked about that a lot, and I'll continue to talk about that, because I think that that's, as a society, right, and as our community that we're building close to us, that is a big key focus.
Yeah.
Is you need to have pride and ownership. And
if we do it for them.
Yeah. And we've had this discussion because we see it even amongst our closest group of friends, is, because we're all YouTubers, right? And we do get, there are subscribers that'll, put comments out there that, why aren't you helping so-and-so? Well, because pride and ownership, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference between a hand up and a hand out. And
we know when we've gotten in too deep on something to where we're like, okay, ixnay, stop. It's time to call in the pros, right? Or it's time to call in the help. And being aware of that. But if you're capable, then get her done. Gross. I know, right?
But yeah, so it's, and that's the thing, is as much as we love to help other people all the time, they, a lot of times we're told no. They're like, no, we got this. We're going to do this. And we're like, oh, come on, just let me help you. But we have to remind our own advice. And, hey, we enjoy doing our own things, because when it's done, we get to say, hey, we did this.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the land. So you'll see us working on Jenna's place when she gets ready for that, and on Jake's place, and on Aunt Swami's place. you know, our focus, honestly, and I mean, call it selfish, call it what you want. I mean, we don't feel bad about it, is our priority is ourselves. You know, at the end of the day, the two of us are responsible for what we do. Anybody outside of that, whether they're our children, whether they're family, whether they're friends, that's it. It needs to be a time that's not to an expense at ourselves. And I think that's going to be our big focus and reminder, because it has been the last 6 months. It's made us realize that we need to focus on us and our projects.
Yeah.
Because if we're not at a place that we're good with, then we're no good to anybody else.
Right.
So yeah, that's our big outlook for 25.
So Happy New Year.
Yeah. So hopefully y'all are safe, right? Don't be drinking and driving. Don't be an idiot, right?
Yeah, don't do that. We've been hit by, me and my kids have been hit by a drunk driver.
We get a new year every year, guys.
Yeah.
There's no sense in going out and being like, this is my last one, I'm going to go out. No, you're an idiot if you go and drink and drive. And, you know, think about the other people on the road.
And that's why we don't like to go out on New Year's Eve.
We've had lots of invitations, and we're trying not to be rude about that, but it's
I don't
also
want to be on the road with the drunks.
Like, we wouldn't drink and drive ourselves, but that doesn't mean everybody else isn't. And typically that's how it works, is a drunk driver is going to take out the innocent person that they were trying to do the right thing, and they were trying to get to their place safely. But enjoy your new year. If you're with friends and family, enjoy it. If you're not, enjoy it too. Make the two of you great. We'll probably
be asleep
by 10:30. Like, the ball drop is great as a kid, or if you're in a big party environment.
We rested a lot the last couple of days, and we might have enough energy to stay awake.
So,
but Happy New Year. Stay blessed in 2025. And no matter what, just do your best. And we'll get back in the rhythm of things. We want to thank each and every one of you guys for sticking with us during our weird 2024. We love you. We appreciate you. And stay tuned for 2025. We have no idea where it's going to go. So with that, we're going to say peace out from the ridge.
See you guys.